resonare fibris.
Hello! Who are you?
Oh, buongiorno, buongiorno. I am Guido, Guido d'Arezzo. You know Guido from Arezzo.
And what was that beautiful tune you were singing?
Oh, that is my masterpiece. I wrote that song. It's so important. Did you know that before I wrote that song, no music was ever written down on anything. No parchment, no nothing. If you wanted to learn a song, you had to memorize it. And what happens if you forgot it? And the children were having so much trouble remembering all of the music for the church service. And I wanted all my life to figure out how to write it down so they could read it like a book. And so I came up with an idea. There's a very old poem. It is a hymn to St. John. You know St. John the Baptist. And each line begins with a different syllable. Ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. And so I wrote my song using those syllables as the notes. And the children, they loved it. They understood right away. Sometimes, children learn so much faster than adults.
That's a really interesting story, Guido. But aren't there 7 notes?
Oh, such a good question. Such a good question. You see, in medieval Italy, 1,000 years ago, there were only 6 notes. Only 6, not 7, only 6. We called it the hexachord. You know a hexagon, no? Hexagon, the shape? Well, a hexagon has 6 sides, and a hexachord has 6 notes. We only had 6 notes. Well, later on, much later, in fact, about 600 years, Giovanni Battista Doni, another good Italian, he came up with note number 7. And he respected my work so much that he used the same poem to name that note. He named it C. Sancte Johannes C.
Wow. Let me ask you one last question.
Sure.
In my time, we use do instead of ut and t instead of c.
Yeah, C. So, another excellent question. That same gentleman, dear Giovanni Battista Doni, he thought that it was hard to sing ut. It starts with a vowel. It's a little tricky to say. And so he decided to change ut to do. I think it was a good idea. I like it. And then much later, in fact, just 200 years ago from where you live right now, a wonderful music teacher in Italy, her name was Miss Glover. She was teaching the children. The children were confused all the time between so and si because they both begin with S. And she decided to change one of them so that they didn't both begin with S. And she changed it to T. So now all of them begin with a consonant, a good sound to sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and then back to do, of course. I think that was a good idea too. I welcome their changes over time.
Thank you so much, Guido. That story was one spicy meatball.
Oh, grazie mille, prego.